So my final project is, did Canada have a role in the Gulf War? What was the Gulf War? The Gulf War, also known as the Persian War, began in the mid-1990s and ended the next year in February. Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein ordered an invasion in Kuwait. Arabian nations called for help, mainly for the US, to control the situation, with like-minded countries joining to stop Iraq. Hussein had conflicts with fellow Arabian countries before. He accused Kuwait of siphoning crude oil, which caused the start of the war. His goal was to seek out nuclear weapons. Canada's effort to stop the war. About 4,000 personnel was deployed, both men and women were. This was the first time that women were sent to combat. There were 4 main task groups: Task Group at Sea, the Air Task Group in Doha Accorder, the Joint Headquarters, and the 1st Canadian Field Hospital at Al Kwazuma. Commodore Kenneth J. Summers was mainly in charge of the operation, and he wanted the nuclear weapons destroyed. It was the first time in decades that Canadian air and naval forces supported each other in war. What artillery did Canada use? The HMCS Terra Nova, HMCS Athabascan escorted the United States hospital ships. The USHS Comfort and the USHS Mercy carried Canadian medical staff on board. The HMCS Protector and Armed Oiler Replenisher serviced all nations involved in the naval operations within the Gulf. 5 Sea King helicopters were attached to the Naval Task Group. So these are the pictures from the war. These guys over here, they're just, I guess, talking about something. And those are both Canadian and American soldiers. And then these are the Canadian ships that were heading towards the Gulf. Did Canada play a role? There is evidence that Canada played a huge role, even though 4,000 personnel was sent. So that's a small number, but they did still do a lot of things to save lives, even though a lot of lives were still lost, but a lot more could have been lost. They used a tanker ship to refuel Allied ships. They helped injured soldiers with the field hospital that they made. They also deactivated bombs and mines in the aftermath. And you can see here, that's a street in Kuwait that looks pretty bombed up and destroyed. And then here are my sources. And yeah.